So you've probably been going to the gym maybe 4 to 5 times a week. You've been doing this for a while, but yet you still cannot drop any weight at all. All right. I'm going to explain why it's happening. Okay. So these are my clients. On the left, Peter. He's been training for over, I reckon, probably 8 years. He's training quite hard, and you think he's doing anything right, but clearly, hasn't got results. Then you got Cody. He's been training for over 10 years. We had a conversation where he just could not drop any body fat at all, despite training for over 10 years. He's tried everything. All right. Then you got Tun, business owner. He's on tours a lot. He's got in shape before. He's done Muay Thai, but it wasn't sustainable. Low calories, high output. And he just wanted a sustainable way where to drop body fat without having to kill yourself, without having to do, a shitload of cardio and eating very low calories. Because yes, you'll lose weight like that. You can eat low calories and do Muay Thai, smash a lot of output and drop weight. But is it sustainable? Do you really want to do that? So why you're not losing weight, even though you're going to the gym a lot, like 4 to 5 times a week? 4 reasons why. Okay. 1, you have no structured plan. 2, your nutrition off. And 3, too much cardio. And number 4 is, my opinion, the biggest one, no accountability. I'm going to go through in depth of each category. Okay. So no structure. So what this means, the problem, okay? You have no idea what to lift or how many reps you're doing. You're doing the same workouts every week, no overload. Body adapts and stops changing immediately. So what this means, it means you're going to the gym, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're going there, you're training chest, you're not even training correctly as well. Your form is off, your intensity is off, you don't know how to train properly. There's no structure. You're pretty much just going there and just doing whatever you like. You need a system. You need to know how many reps you're doing, what exercise, how to execute it perfectly as well. It's the form over weight. I see so many guys going to the gym. A lot of my clients as well in the past, they have no structure. They have no system. You need a system to follow. It's like in anything. In business, you need a system, a structured system in order to get results. It happens with fitness as well. In fitness, you need a system. Speaking from personal experience, I was like that too. Before I saw any results, I had no system. I was going to the gym, just training what I felt like, or I would just follow just YouTube videos, fitness influencers, trying to follow their workouts. Guess what? No results. I wasn't getting any stronger. I was just doing what I thought was right. So how we fix this? Okay, you follow a structured 12-week program. It could be 12 or 16 or 20 weeks, as long as it is structured. Because if you look at this is what I would, typically, this is for my personal routine. So, I've got the exercises, the amount of sets, the amount of reps as well. I'm tracking all the lifts. I'm knowing how many kilos I'm lifting, the reps and everything. So it needs to be tracked. If you don't track things, you cannot progress in things. Okay. Look, for if you're just starting out, you don't need to track lifts as rigorously as someone who's more advanced. But as you start advancing, as you start progressing, you need to track these things. Your sets, your reps, how many reps. These are very important, because in order to build muscle, you have to be progressive overload. That just means getting stronger over time. A bigger muscle is a stronger muscle. All the guys that carry quite a bit of muscle, it's because they're strong. Okay, they're strong. That they're progressive overloading. You challenge your body. You cannot grow if you're lifting weights that isn't challenging to you. Okay. So progressive overload every single session. So what that means is you're either trying to beat last week's performance by an extra rep, a weight, Look, obviously, some weeks you're not going to always progressive overload. I experience that personally too. Sometimes you just it just isn't there. But the goal is to trying to get stronger every time. Okay, you have to get stronger. You track lifts and add weight weekly. The goal is to just try to add a little bit of weight, add a little bit of reps if you can. Every week isn't going to be a win every time. And also, the intensity. I see so many guys, they are not training to mechanical failure. So usually what happens is before a client signs up, I will ask them their personal experience. How experienced are you in the gym? 1 out of 10. I'd say majority of the guys would say probably between 7 to 9 in the experience. So 7 to 9, I would classify 7 to 9 as your form's good, your tempo is good, your centric is good. You know how to execute this exercise properly. Out of all the people, I've trained over 100 guys. Out of all the guys that I've trained, I'd say probably 3 guys I haven't ever seen where their form is good, the execution is good, slow tempo, full range of motion, lengthening the muscle, everything is correct. So it shows you the average person thinks they know how to lift, but they really don't. So, a lot of people thinking that they know how to train, but when I look at the form and they send me form videos, I'm like, dude, no wonder why you're not growing. Your training it's not good. Like, I totally get it. I was like that too. I was, your tempo's off. You're lifting too many weights. Sorry, you're lifting too much weights. Like, it's not how you train. Being a powerlifter and trying to build muscle, it is two completely different things. You're not trying to fucking lift a lot of weights. Yes, you are, but if you start sacrificing your form and you're trying to overload a lot of weights, that is not how you progressive overload. Your form has to be good. Form over weight. You leave your fucking ego at the door. Stop trying to be a powerlifter. I tell you this all the time. I say this all the fucking time. Are we trying to build muscle or are we trying to be a powerlifter? Like, if you're trying to build muscle, no one gives a fuck how much you lift. Drop the ego, drop the ego, drop the weight, and learn how to execute this exercise properly. I'm going to show you a video of how you train to mechanical failure. Every set should look like this. Every working set should look like this. Now, if you look at him, okay, look at this. This is rep 2. He's going to fail. This is what I call failure. 4 reps. That's failure. That's 5 reps. That's failure. This is failure. And this is obviously partial. This is beyond failure. So rep 5, this is where failure should be. Where you're pushing where you cannot perform another rep on your own if you wanted to. So many guys, their intensity is shit. And that's why they're not growing. It is simple as that. They train like pussies. Like, you have to go in there and you have to train with intensity. You have to train to a failure. So you need to train to failure with good form. Form over weights. Number 2, your nutrition is way off. Okay. So many guys think that just because they train hard, they're doing a lot of cardio, they can go and fucking eat out and things like that. No, you cannot. The reason why you cannot drop weight is because you're not in a calorie deficit. You are eating too many calories. You need to eat less than your body. Sorry, it's calories in versus calories out. So the problem is eating back calories that you burnt and then some. So what that means is you're eating good Monday to Friday. Then Saturday comes, you think you deserve a cheat meal or something, or off-pan meal. And essentially, you're eating pretty much what you burn off throughout the week. So Monday to Friday, you're in a calorie deficit. Let's just say you're in a 1,000 calorie deficit from Monday to Friday. Then Saturday comes, you eat a burger. That's over 1,000 calories. You're back at maintenance. You're back at a surplus, a little bit surplus. And you repeat that same cycle over and over. I see this so many fucking times. You eat good Monday to Friday. Saturday comes, have a cheat meal. You're back to square one. That's why you cannot drop weights. Number two is you have no idea of your actual calorie or your protein intake. You do not know how many calories you're consuming, your protein intake. Your protein intake is probably so low as well. Look, the reason why you track calories, your protein intake is because it makes everything a lot easier. For example, if you know you're eating 2,100 calories every week and your weight isn't dropping, guess what? You are not in a calorie deficit. That the data's there, it shows that you're in a calorie deficit. If you're eating, let's just say 2,000 calories and your weight drops very slowly and you dropped a kilo for a week, then you're not in a calorie deficit. It is simple as that. It gives you the data to know where you're at. Weekends, you're eating, weekend eating undoes 5 days of gym effort. So that's all explaining. Monday to Friday, you eat good. Weekend comes, you undo all that damage from eating off plan. And believe it or not, some of these foods are very high in calories. Nuts, fatty foods. The reason why fatty foods are so high in calories is because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So a lot of off meal plans are high in fat, high in cheese, saturated fats, and that is a reason why. And I see this time and time again. So how we fix this? You hit your protein target every single day. A good thing about protein is it is very satiating. Having a high protein diet makes you less hungry. So I get all my clients to have a high protein intake. It's very satiating. It fills you up. And study shows having, if you were to eat more protein, let's just say you're eating a calorie surplus of protein over carbohydrates or fats, your body stores a less body fat. So that tells you a few things. Having a high protein diet, you're less chance of putting on body fat, and two, is very satiating. Track your food for just 2 weeks to get clarity. So what that means is track your food for 2 weeks and actually know how much calories you're consuming. And I bet you for a fact that you are eating way too many calories than you really think you are. So, a lot of clients and previous friends, I told them track calories for a week or two and actually know how much calories you're eating, and you'll be very surprised. You think you're eating 2,000 calories, and guess what? You're eating bloody 3,200 calories from all the sources, all these high fat food, and you'll be very surprised. And then that's how you can get actual data to see how much you're eating. Eat in a small sustained calorie deficit. So yes, this does work. It really depends on the person. In my opinion, if you have a lot of weight to lose, you can be quite aggressive in that deficit. You can go a little bit harder. Hence why all my clients, they're able to drop, weight very quickly because I put them in an aggressive calorie deficit. And, they usually, what tends to happen is someone who hasn't eaten whole meal foods for a while and they're eating a lot of processed foods and foods that are, like high in calories and low in volume. Once they switch with the whole foods, it's very satiating. They don't feel that hungry and they're able to drop weight very quickly because they're eating whole foods. The foods are low in calories and high in volume. So that's why, the clients that carry a little bit more body fat, I will be more aggressive. And, clients that don't know how to track calories, you need a meal plan. So before signing on a client, I will ask them how knowledgeable are they in tracking macros or not. If they don't know how to track calories and they're not very good at macros, I will give them a meal plan. So what this meal plan consists of, it will show them, exactly what to eat and how much grams to eat as well. Everything's tracked. You've got your calories, you got your carbs, your protein, your fat, your fiber. I even tell you how to make it as well. It is very simple, basic food. And it's all laid out here. I've got your meals, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. Everything's tracked. you've got 1,500 calories, 100 grams of carbs, 23 grams of fiber, 56 grams of fat, 177 grams of protein. These are essential when you don't know how to track calories. You need a meal plan to, I guess, guide you throughout the process, okay? Number 3 is too much cardio. I see this time and time again. Guys are fucking doing way too much cardio. You think that burning calories equals fat loss. Yes, that is correct. But let me explain why this is the issue. The problem, less muscle means slower metabolism. Do you understand that? There is a reason why marathon runners are skinny, because they don't concentrate on weightlifting. If you look at a sprinter and a marathon runner, majority of the times the sprinters are always they carry more muscle tissue. So for all the guys there that doing a lot of runs and things like that, it is not the way to burn muscle. It is not the way to lose body fat. You need to build muscle. Okay? And the reason why building muscle is very important, because the more muscle you have, you're able to burn calories at a resting state, meaning that someone who has more muscle tissue, they can essentially eat more calories and they burn more calories from doing nothing. If you get two males, one that's 100 kilos of fat and another one that's 100 kilos of muscle, the guy that's carrying muscle, he can eat probably 5 to 6,000 and not, he can eat probably 3 to 4,000 calories and still lose weight. Whereas the guy that's 100 kilos that's carrying all fat, to lose weight, he'll probably have to eat less calories. So it shows you that to build muscle, it helps with the fat loss process. Like all my clients here on the left, Michael, he did a lot of BFT style. So that's a lot of endurance. That's kind of like, I think similar to like something like high rocks a little bit. So on the left, yeah, believe it or not, he was doing more cardio. He's been training for a while and he could not get the body fat. Guess what? On the right, we switched it from BFT training. I think he was doing it maybe 3 times a week. I said, look, just notch it down a bit, just do it once a week. But I want you to focus more on hypertrophy gym training. And these were the results. He was doing less cardio, more weight training. We track these calories, more protein intake, and you see the difference. You can see the difference. Okay, how we fix this? You prioritize strength training 3 to 4 times a week. That is all you need. 3 to 4 times a week of hard intensity training. It is not that complicated. Hard and intensity. Okay. Keep cardio short and strategic, not excessive. So, and also a reason why I do not like to get clients to do, too much cardio or running especially, is because you get very hungry after. Okay. Essentially you want to do the cardio with the least amount of, fatigue. Marathon runs, high interval training, HRT, things like that. It is very fatigued for the body. Plus in a calorie deficit, when you're trying to do that, it's too much fatigue built up over time. So a good way, you want to keep it cardio short and strategic. So that is why we use steps. That is why we use, slow intensity cardio. That's walking or incline treadmill or using a stepper. Those are perfect. So build muscle to burn more calories at rest 24/7. As I was explaining, it is very, very important that you try to build muscle. More muscle means you're able to burn more calories. It means you're able to eat more calories. So I try to say this time and time again, building muscle helps burn body fat. You stop concentrating so much on running. You think you're trying to burn more calories. Let me go for a run. I'm going to fucking do a 2-hour run. I'm going to run all this so I can just burn all these calories. But you're missing the whole point. You're not building muscle. You need to incorporate weight training to build muscle. Last one, no accountability. You're doing this alone. This is why a lot of people quit. You need a system. You need feedback. You need a feedback loop. So the problem is no one checking in. Easy to skip sessions. When you're, when you don't have that discipline, when you haven't been trained for a while and you don't have the drive, when you don't have that motivation, it is very, very hard to go into the gym when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't even know if what you're doing is right as well. Am I training correctly? Am I eating correctly? You have no one there to give you feedback. No feedback means you repeat the same mistakes. I see this time and time again. How many guys or girls do you that always say, I eat healthy, but I'm not losing weight, right? I eat healthy, but I'm not losing weight. And then when I look at what they've been eating, okay, I'm having a lot of avocados, I'm having a lot of nuts in between my meals, and then on Saturday I'm having a smoothie. No fucking wonder why you're not losing weight. You're not tracking your calories. You don't know what the fuck. You're not in a calorie deficit. You're eating way too many calories. So, and you need someone there to kind of guide you, kind of walk you through the process of losing body fat. Are your steps high enough? Are you in a calorie deficit? If let's just say for a week, you've been doing these things and you're not dropping weight, there is a reason why you're not dropping weight. Your output is too low. You're eating too many calories. Probably sleep is off. You're not drinking enough water. You're not eating the right foods. That's why you're hungry. There's a lot of factors why you're not losing weight. You need feedback. You need someone to look over and understands the process of losing body fat. Motivation phase and the structure is what keeps you going. So that is very true. When motivation is low, where you cannot be fucked doing these things, guess what? You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it when it's winter and it's cold and you can't be fucked going and you're like, fuck, I'm just going to stay on the couch and chill out. I'll make it up for tomorrow. Guess what? Tomorrow comes, you're doing the same shit again. I get it, man. I used to be in that position too. I used to be so lazy as well. Like sometimes I'll skip sessions, but I totally get it, man. But now once I have a coach, it has changed the game for me. It has changed the game. So the fix is work with a coach who checks in weekly. Weekly check-ins. You can see who I am, giving feedback to my clients. I'm going through, their how much weight they're losing, the progress photos. Also with this client, I'm seeing how much calories he's eating, the protein, how much weight the average in weight, how much sleep he's getting, his steps, his hunger, his water, recovery. All this comes into play to make the right decision, because you need to know these things. Checking in with someone who understands, the process of just building muscle, losing body fat. Get a plan adjusted based on results. So everyone is different. Someone with 2,000 calories to lose body fat isn't going to be the same plan. Someone that needs, let's just say, that needs 1,500 to lose calories. Everyone's plan is different. Everyone's body is different. Your metabolism, your body fat, your muscles, how much carrying muscle, your height, it's all different. Everyone is different. Accountability is a big thing. Speaking from personal experience, I had the same issue before I got in coaching. I guess I was getting results. It was going okay, yes, but I was cheating a lot. I was eating off my plan a lot of the times. I dare say probably 3 times a week I would order Uber Eats. Yes, I was training a lot, but I was eating out. My body fat got really high. But that all changed once I got a coach. That changed everything for me. It helps you it keeps you locked in, because every week you're checking in and you have a purpose. Once I got a coach, that was more knowledgeable than me, that helped me with the PDUs, that helped me with the training, the nutrition. It made things a lot easier. But I want to think about, the training, nutrition. Just give me the game plan and I'm going to follow it. I would rather have a coach that tells me what to do, when to do it, and while we're doing things. So that is why accountability is so big. You you're paying someone for their knowledge, someone who's, obviously more experienced than you, and he's done this more times, has helped other coaches as well. Hence why we're paying for the coaching. So this is why you are not losing weight despite training 3 to 4 times a week, because these 4 things are off. No structure plan, no nutrition, too much cardio, and no accountability.